I've removed the bobbin case so we can really see that this machine's at a time. You can see the needle coming down, and there should be an opening for the needle to actually go ahead and fall into in the hook down here. And then the hook tip of the mechanical hook usually will come up behind the needle. I've reversed it here so we can see, to catch the thread. So let's go ahead and take a look at this without the pressure foot on. We're going to go ahead and remove the pressure foot. So we can see if the hook tip, so on the right hand side, the hook tip actually just passes above the eye of the needle. So this machine actually might even sew on one side, but watch what happens on the far left hand side, because what I've done to test this is I've opened the zigzag up all the way. Is what we can see right away is it strikes, and then we have a problem. Look at that. It struck and even a screw popped out of the position finger bracket right here. Okay, so that's a mechanical problem. We're going to make a timing adjustment to this machine to time that hook. And look, our needle's totally ruined now too. It's totally bent, and it struck metal. Anytime a needle strikes metal, it burrs the very tip of it, and you can feel that where it's been turned over. The tip's been turned over by the metal. So this is a bad needle now. And we don't want to time a machine with a slightly bent needle or a damaged needle, because then the machine will not truly be in time. So what we're going to do now is time this Singer machine. We can see that the hook, the tip of the hook right here, when I say hook, I'm really referring to the tip of this component here, turns and catches thread off the back of the needle, delivering that loop from the back of the thread up onto the fabric, and then the take-up arm then pulls that loop up tight after the needle's in the full upright position delivering the loop. So what we need to do is change the position of this hook so it's in time again. So what we can see here is this is what turns the hook. When this turns, it rotates the hook. The main drive is back here, and it is secured by 2 set screws. We have 2 screws there. There's also a pulley that's allowing the belt to turn right here as well. Okay, or allowing for tension on the belt, and this pulley can be adjusted with this here, but this should deflect by about 1 inch, which it is, so that's good. Okay, and you'll see some machines that are of a cheaper build use a drive belt, and some use a shaft, a metal shaft. This is a drive belt machine. So what we're going to do is set our timing, and we're going to change our zigzag position to full width, so the needle is moving to the far right and the far left. The hook turns in a counterclockwise direction, so we are going to time the hook to the left side of the zigzag. So this particular machine has cutouts in the hook, or holes in the component, that allow for the needle to go to depth to create a loop in the thread. When it comes up, it creates a loop that the hook then grabs onto. On the left hand side, we can see that the needle actually strikes the hook, and we can even see the damage in the hook over there where it's been striking, or it's struck before. And so we need to change the timing first of all so that the needle is going to go down into that groove. Okay, so we're going to loosen these 2 screws here and then set it in position to where the needle actually can drop into the hook. So now that we've loosened these 2 screws on the drive down here that go to this pulley, which has no screws on it, note, so I'm making my adjustment where there are, we can see the needle moves and the hook is not coming into the eye of the needle at all. It's not moving at all. So what we want on the left hand side of a rotary hook like this that turns counterclockwise, we want the needle to be rising up, not down, but on the upswing. I'm turning the hand wheel towards me in sewing motion, which is towards me. Okay, and the needle is now on the upswing. We can see the eye of the needle coming up. And what we want is for the hook tip to come up to the eye of the needle. So now what I'm doing is changing the hook timing simply by turning this here. With those settings disengaged, I can turn the hook tip to be coming in right above the eye of the needle while the needle is rising up. Okay. And so now we'll check our timing, but first we're going to go ahead and tighten these. So we're going to run an initial test to ensure that our timing and service took. I'm going to set the length of the machine to a 2, to a zigzag, and then we're going to open it to a full zigzag width. Okay, so it's going all of the way to the left and the right. We'll take our shop rag, fold it in half so we have 2 layers of shop rag, fold that over so we have 4, and then I'm going to fold this over so I have a seam of 2, 4, and 6 layers. The machine should be able to sew over that seam and not skip stitches. So that's what we want to test. So far, so good. So what we can see here is that it's actually skipping a stitch on one side. And that's why we do this test. We can see it needs further mechanical adjustment. So we're going to go ahead and adjust the machine a little bit more. So we've redone the timing adjustment, and basically the hook needed to be slowed down because it was skipping on the right hand side. This is reversed, but you'll see this is actually the right hand side it was skipping. But it was tying on the left hand side, and this hook turns counterclockwise. So we slowed the hook down, or we retarded the hook, and now we can see that it hits every time, and on a thick layer on the seam here, it does hit for sure, and you can see where it skipped before. So this test quickly shows our timing adjustment. So now we're ready to do the final sew-in for our final test to make sure we're good to go.